Hey guys, how's it going? It's a Sunday evening and it's just about dinner time, so I'm gonna cook up a steak and I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. Now, there are a lot of different ways to cook up a steak. This is generally how I do it, and you may like it too. The first step in cooking any great steak is to know what kind of steak you actually have and how thick it is. I have a top sirloin and it's about an inch thick. I took this piece of steak out of the fridge about 20 minutes ago and it's coming up to room temperature. And now we're going to season it. You really want to season your steak just a few minutes prior to cooking, because if you start seasoning it a lot earlier, you're just going to end up drawing out a lot of moisture from the steak and it's not going to make it juicy at all. I keep my seasoning really simple, just some salt and some pepper, and a generous amount of salt and pepper, because a lot of it is actually going to fall off during the cooking process. Don't forget to season both sides and make sure you rub it all in. The next key step in cooking any great steak is to have a really hot pan. I'm using a cast iron skillet, and they retain a lot of heat because they're really heavy. I've had it on for several minutes now, and it's warmed up really nicely on medium high. So let's drizzle some oil on it. And let's spread that oil all around the pan. So this pan is definitely hot enough because you can see all the smoke coming right off the pan. So let's go ahead and put the steak on there and really listen for that sizzle effect. Because if you're not getting that sizzling effect, you're definitely not hot enough. That's exactly the sound that you want to hear when you first lay your steak on the skillet. And lay the steak away from you on the pan so nothing splashes back up at you. I'm going to cook my steak for a total of about 2 minutes on each side. I'm going to flip it over every 45 seconds to about a minute. Usually I cook it for the full 2 minutes on each side and just flip it once, but I decided to change it up today and flip it several times. And I like my steaks medium rare, so that's how I'm going to be cooking it today. Just remember, it's really easy to overcook your steak and go past the level of doneness that you initially wanted for your steak. So that's why I said at the beginning of my video, it's important to know what kind of steak you have and how thick it is. So let's give this steak a flip. And there's that nice crust you want to see on the outside of your steak. And I'm just going to press down on the edges of the steak just to make sure the other side gets nice contact with the pan. Now you do have several methods you can use to help you achieve the right temperature of your steak. You can use the time method that I used and cook your steak specifically for a given amount of time on each side. You can use a meat thermometer to tell what temperature of the steak is at the middle. Or simply you can just press down on the steak and depending on its firmness you can tell how much of it is actually cooked. Let's give the steak another flip. The steak is coming along really well. Let's fast forward and flip it again. So this steak looks like it's done. I'm just going to double check by pressing down on the firmness level of it, and it looks good to me. So let's take it off the pan. The last key thing to remember is let the steak rest for at least 5 minutes or so, depending on the size of your steak. This is going to help let the meat reabsorb the juices back into the steak. Alright guys, thanks for watching.